Right, let me bring you a little bit of breaking news, and it comes from Ukraine, where 49 people are believed to have been killed following a Russian missile strike near Kharkiv. There are reports that a 6-year-old may be among those that have died. Our defence and security analyst, Professor Michael Clark, is here with us. Professor Clark, what do we know about this attack on Kharkiv? And just explain to us why it's significant that it's on that part of Ukraine.
Yeah, it seems to be on a village called Hroza, which is quite a long way behind the front lines. The Russians are pushing towards Kupyansk, and this Hroza is a good 20 kilometres west of Kupyansk, and the front line is east of Kupyansk itself, so it must be 30 or 40 kilometres behind the front line. This is a village of 500 people, Hroza, and you can see from these pictures how big the explosions were. Apparently the people were in some sort of memorial hall. They were having a dinner of some sort or a lunch. It was an event. And so 1 in 10 people, 10% of that whole village has been taken out.
Have any idea of what kind of munition did this?
Well, I was looking at this earlier on, a few minutes ago, and the sheer width of the destruction would suggest to me it's probably been an anti-ship missile or something like that. Wow. Your average battlefield missile penetrates but doesn't do the width of damage that has done. I mean, that's brought down a whole building and maybe some more besides. Mm-hmm. And it was clearly full of people. It's nowhere near the front lines. So whatever hit it, in a small village, one assumes was targeted. I don't think it's hard to believe that this could have been a misdirected missile or a missile out of off flight. And it's so far behind the front lines, you have to believe it was deliberate. And my guess would be maybe an anti-ship missile, one of these big 5-ton things.
In and around Kharkiv as well, because our viewers will remember, of course, Kharkiv has been fought over a lot and was taken back.
Kharkiv is the second city of Ukraine. It was very near the front lines, very near the front line of very close to the Russian border, just north of Kharkiv. Over the Russian border, there's Belgorod. But this, if you had to put it on that map, you would put it probably 2/3 of the way from Kharkiv to the shaded area. That's where the little village is, Hroza. So it's in Kharkiv Oblast, Kharkiv region, in the area of Kupyansk, in the region of Kupyansk. But I mean, this is a village. You and I would say this is a village in the middle of nowhere. 500 people, engaged in some sort of memorial dinner that was hit.
And quick thought as well, because this is happening while President Zelensky is in Spain.
Yeah, and he's made statements, his office has made statements saying this proves what I told you about the Russians. I mean, we can't expect anything more. And while he was in Spain, he was very tough on the Allies in a way. He's saying the things he always says, that, that we're grateful and we're doing what we can. But he's really saying, we are fighting in Ukraine so that you don't have to. This is a war that the whole of the Western world has now been drawn into against Russian aggression. We know what the Russians want. And, of course, we're grateful for what you've given us. But remember, we are doing the fighting that we would all have to do otherwise. And if you keep us short of material, then more people will die. And so his message was the message we've heard many times, but the tone behind it is much tougher, much more, I'm a bit cynical in a way, almost as if I've got fed up saying these things. Yeah, you can see that in him.
It comes at a very important time.
It does. It's a very vulnerable time for him at the moment.